We did a road trip from Brisbane to Melbourne during Christmas 2023 and we'll show you a few highlights. We lived in Melbourne until 2002 when we were studying at uni. So this was a very nostalgic trip where we will be visiting Melbourne after 21 years. We left Brisbane on Friday the 22nd December, very early in the morning around 3:30. I had 2 very late nights before we left to Melbourne due to work commitments. Therefore, we had quite a few rests before we hit Sydney. My wife and daughter were tired as well because they packed the car during the last night, so they slept in the car. Therefore, we missed videoing the first few hours of the journey. We had a fully packed car and we had Bailey as well. We are pretty close to the town that we will spend the night. We plan to stay overnight in a town called Voi Voi, which is in New South Wales and about 1 hour before Sydney. This is the motel we stayed overnight. This is part of the Brisbane Water Lake, or it can be called a lagoon as well. It is a pretty vast lake and Voi Voi lies on the banks of it. This area was a 2-minute walk from where we stayed overnight. I brought Bailey for a walk as well because he was in the car for quite a while. This was a very beautiful sight. We left Voi Voi to Melbourne around 3:30 in the morning the next day. We plan to have a few rests along the way to Melbourne. It felt so good knowing we'll be reaching Melbourne today. This was our first rest stop. This is how a rest stop looks like. Bailey had a break too, and we enjoyed the sunrise. The scenery was pretty beautiful. We are just crossing the border from New South Wales to Victoria, where Melbourne is. The skyline that you see in the front is of Melbourne City. We will reach our final destination within 30 minutes. We will not go right into the CBD of Melbourne, but to a suburb which is 30 minutes out of Melbourne CBD. We reached our destination yesterday, and today we went past all the houses we rented while being uni students. There was a weatherboard house here in the early 2000s. Now it's a beautiful house. We also visited Deakin University's Burwood campus, where we studied. We are going to visit a chocolate factory in Yarra Valley. They had the factory as well as the shop. The factory was away from the shop and it was not allowed for visitors to have a look. You can see a little bit of the process here. This is the beautiful view from the common deck of the shop. Isn't it beautiful? Then we came to Marysville. All those grey spikes you see in the mountains are dead tall trees from the 2009 Marysville bushfires. You can see how many or how vast the area is. This is on our way from Marysville to Warburton to see redwood forest. This really reminded me of the hill country roads in Sri Lanka, especially the roads going over to Houghton Plains. We are now approaching the redwood forest in Warburton. Look at these majestic giants. Redwoods are the tallest trees in the world, but not these ones, the ones in California in the USA. These are only about 100 years old. This is the car park for the visitors. This is also the Yarra Valley region. Very beautiful sceneries. We are on the way to our friend's place, and this is the end of our part 1 of our Brisbane to Melbourne trip. See you all in the Titanic exhibition and part 2 of our trip, which would be some of Melbourne and our way back to Brisbane. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed it.